Hey everyone, welcome to Let's Talk About the POTS Life, your go-to podcast for all things POTS. Whether you're living with POTS or supporting someone who is, this is the place for you.
Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk About the POTS Life.
This week we are doing an episode that are things that I personally wish that I knew when I was diagnosed with POTS. Like if I could go back and tell myself. And as Britt and I were talking about the podcast and what we were going to talk about and things like that, I kind of put together a little, statement of what I think really represents my journey and then where the podcast is headed today. But I was thinking about all the different things that, like, if I could go back, and if I could, I would go back and tell myself before diagnosis that 1, you're not crazy. 2, it's not all in your head. These symptoms are real and they're really happening. And 3, healing will come. It's going to be slow. It's going to be bumpy, but it will come, and just know that your life can get that much better. So I feel like that kind of, lays out the theme of POTS treatment in general, the POTS life as a brand, and then where this episode is heading.
Yeah, so we're just going to dive right on in and just talk about the diagnosis journey and how that is often for, I would say, majority of people that we talk to, that is a long and frustrating process to get that diagnosis once you start to experience symptom.
Right. I think that is, like Britt said, the chunk of most people that are diagnosed. Now, you do have these other ones where after I meet with them, some are. Everything was fine, got a viral illness or whatever the exact cause is, or, moment that something changed in your life, and then diagnosed quickly, and maybe the road wasn't as long. But for the most part, I would say it's people that can look back and be like, you know what, I did have something weird, or I did have this, or did experience this. So I think it's very common for us to see these type of patterns, and it be long and frustrating and bumpy and, just so up and down.
And that, like you said, a lot of people, if they have like an event, right, that kind of triggers the POTS symptoms to flare up more. If it's something that's not like an immediate trigger, it takes years for you to like piece that all together to say, oh, maybe this handshaking, maybe that is all related in some way.
Yeah, hindsight. And even with these appointments that we have, we started a new option, a consultation option. Even if you're not ready to join the POTS Life program, we started these consultation visits where they're actually 2.5-hour appointments, 2 hours with me. We go over everything. Then you go in and schedule with Britt for a 30-minute meeting. And, we kind of go through everything. But as we're going through and talking and helping you kind of put pieces together, it's like, oh, wait, that did come after this event, or that's something I thought when I was younger, when everybody stood up, they were dizzy, or so it's, you put things together, but then we're kind of helping you put the pieces together. And then continually, as you move through treatment and get better, hindsight, it's just so clear, like, wow, that was really, at least for me, that was really related to POTS. And I just had no idea.
Yeah. And if you could go back and tell your old self, your previous version of yourself this, it would be to start tracking, write things down.
Mm-hmm. Because there's so much. Well, I mean, you feel crazy. So when you start to really lay it down, like, okay, from a GI perspective, this was bothering me. And then I was getting what I thought were sinus infections, or my hands were tremoring. And you start with this wide range of symptoms. But I think as you work with different disciplines, you can kind of roll things in, roll things out. But I think just having that symptom tracker, not that it overwhelms you and consumes you and that becomes your identity, but just something that you're aware of, like, hey, this is adding up. Or maybe for women around certain times in their cycle, they notice something more, and just starting to put pieces together for yourself is very helpful.
And it will help when you go to meet with a healthcare provider as well. Like, they might ask you about symptoms that you don't think were relevant to that specialty, but if you are tracking things, you can say, oh, wait, you're right, this does happen at this time of my cycle, or I do get out, I do have a GI experience when this happens.
Yeah, it's because I think sometimes a lot of times we don't even realize. I mean, it's happened to myself where they'll be like, anything else? And I'm like, well, actually, and they're like, no, that's really important for me to know. So even though you don't might not realize that it's important, having it written down and just somewhere in that journal or symptom tracker, whatever you're using, just to keep track of things, patterns,
Mhm.
eating, especially from a nutrition side, if you eat certain meals or don't eat, how you feel. You're collecting all the data. You may not know what to do or how to make sense of it, but I think the more you have, the better.
Yeah, I mean, for years in nutrition, the gold standard, I mean, we've changed a little bit now, but was to ask someone to do a 24, 48-hour food recall. Because if you're
Mhm.
coming to me for nutrition advice and you're saying you have symptoms, I can't help you if I don't actually have a snapshot of what's going on and to help identify possible triggers along that way.
For sure. I mean, I think it just allows us to have a better idea of what your life looks like. Even, that's the consult paperwork. I was just saying to Jenna today, it's pretty long, but it's
Yes.
so informative for us to get to the bottom of things and really be able to get deep in there and try to put pieces together for you. And like you said, somebody might not notice, but as soon as you look at it, you're like, oh, trigger. And so we can help put those pieces together. But if you don't have that info and you're just going about every day, it's hard for you, it's hard for physicians, whoever you're seeing, to kind of make sense of it. So having that, just an extra tool in your toolbox is very important.
Yeah, it just helps you validate the things you're going through and provide some documentation for anyone else that helps just build your case. Because it can
Mhm.
be a long journey to diagnosis depending on how your symptoms come on and how advanced you are at that time, too.
I think because I didn't keep, practice what you preach. I didn't. So I would see GI and knew I had a GI issue. And then things would fall apart from that aspect and endoscopies and HIDA scans for gallbladder and eat low FODMAP and all of that. But then also at the same time, I was getting those headaches or hand tremors, or it's not like I brought any of that up to GI because I'm like, well, it's just my stomach. So
Right.
I don't have anything to do there. Or my PCP, I didn't share all of the GI thing. I think I really tried to keep it very compartmentalized. And hindsight, I'm not sure with POTS. I should have been doing that. I don't think I needed to go in and symptom dump everywhere, but showing a little crossover, I think would have been beneficial to me. And I was very like, nope, not their lane. I'm not even bringing it up, which could have, who knows? I don't have a crystal ball, but it might have helped me along the way.
Yeah, and with autoimmune, speaking from my experience, it took a long time to get a diagnosis with my autoimmune. And that's the case for, I feel like, most people that are
Mm,
in that realm.
for
Because
sure.
with autoimmune, right, it's almost like you have to capture it when it's active, when you are having a flare, and then to have a
Mhm.
doctor appointment at the same exact time. And that's why it's like, oh, I'd get an appointment, but it wouldn't be till I was back in remission, essentially. And so it takes a long
Mhm.
time. And I feel like POTS follows that trend, right? If you're not
Mhm.
having the symptoms severe every day that you're not able to get out of bed, it can take a lot
Mhm.
longer.
Yeah, and I think because somebody asked me, "Do you think there's something called pre-POTS?" And I don't know. I don't know because for me, I my heart rate, the reason why I say I don't know is because my heart rate, at least for me to notice, didn't trigger till that day I was carrying the laundry up the steps. But looking back, I mean, every other box checked POTS. So I don't know if I did my tilt table before, if it would have
Mhm.
failed, like it did whenever I finally was ordered it. But I mean, you're right, sometimes symptoms get better, and this is where people will say when we talk that, "Oh, myself or my child, whatever, they were good for so long, and then they fell off, and then they got better." So, maybe they're not as bad as what I read on the internet, and
Right.
it's so bumpy, and everybody's journey is a little bit different, but having that whole map of symptoms, so even if you go home and look at it after we talk and you're like, oh, okay, this makes more sense. Or you hear the podcast and you can put pieces together. I think having your own journal is key.
And that bumpy road continues through your treatment process. Along the
Yes.
way, we talk about how medications can help, especially early on, the importance of not saying no to giving a medicine a
Mhm.
try.
I think lately I've been hearing people not that they come out and say a failure if they have to take meds,
Mhm.
but I think sometimes they look at themselves like that. And I think we kind of need to revamp that idea on meds that it's okay. I'm honest and open that I had to take and trial different meds and then ended up on 2 meds, and now, I take a half a dose of one of them, again, probably placebo at this, but I want you to know that you don't have to be on them forever, and if you
Right.
do have to take them, it's okay. Like, you gotta look at quality of life, and people ask me that all the time, like, "Do you think it would be beneficial?" I say, "If you can start the program and you wanna try it without, good, awesome, but if we get a few months in and you're still explaining some of these specific symptoms
Mhm.
or we're maybe not meeting your peers, the trends I typically see, then I say, I don't think it's a bad thing to reach out to your physician and start a low dose of whatever, we talk about at that time. But I think give yourself some grace. If you have to do it, it's not something that you have to be on forever. I'm proof of that. And if you need it to help get you through in order to bike and do the exercise, then I wouldn't be ashamed of that. I think it's totally okay. And on the other end, it's totally okay to do it without meds too. Like,
Mhm.
that's awesome. And then I have some who, right now, they won't come off a medication or in the foreseeable future, but also it's okay. Every pot's body is
Mhm.
different.
I'm hearing CJ in my head because, I'm like, "Oh, I have a headache," and he'll be like, "Should take medicine." I'm like,
Yes.
"No." And he's like, "Well,
Yes.
what how do you think your headache's gonna go away?" I'm like, I'm gonna will it
Yeah.
away, like, with some water or something else." And so, yeah, there's some
Some
days
salt.
yeah, some days I can will it away, other days I need to take the
Yes.
medicine. So kind of like
Right.
keeping it like that, yeah.
Yes. It's I know there's side effects of all meds,
Mhm.
but the medications that have been studied for POTS are safe
Yeah.
and they're effective, and sometimes they are needed. So, yes,
Yeah.
it's all right to take it.
Yeah. And especially if you do join the program and you start to exercise, not all exercises are built equally, and you might need some more support at first to start off to kind of get your body used to doing the right kind of movement.
It's meant to complement it. So, I think I've said this on other episodes, but to me, the medication is a Band-Aid, right? If you just do the medication without the exercise, it'll hold you somewhat together. It'll be bumpy, way bumpier, but it will help.
Mhm.
But if you do the medication plus the exercise, the goal of taking the medication to me while you're on the program is to allow your body to get to a point where you can exercise. You slowly retrain the body through the POTS life, how to uptake the blood. And then at some point in time, you can wean off. I got to a point, and this is what I recommend to others, when you're get to a point where you feel pretty steady. It's
Yeah.
not perfect, but pretty steady. Then I wouldn't change any meds for like a year. Just let your
Yeah.
body find what this new normal is, and then you can think about it. But allow yourself the win of feeling better, doing well before you go changing things up. So, yeah, I think it's totally okay to do it, but also with an asterisk that if you're going to take the meds, we 1000% recommend that you get on the right exercise protocol to then not be reliant on the meds and
Mhm.
instead retrain your body the right way.
Yeah, because you're not lazy at the beginning of
No,
diagnosis. That's not it at all. Your
no,
body is losing its mind, for normal talk. Yeah.
really. I mean, it is. It's not functioning like it. Autoimmune does that, right? Your body starts to work in ways that don't make sense, and you're not lazy. It may come off to I've heard plenty of people say to family and friends that you're lazy or you're just using it as an excuse because with POTS, that chronic illness,
Mhm.
that silent chronic illness, one day you might be okay, and then the next you're not, and you can't go to the family barbecue, or maybe you went to the family barbecue, but you can't make the other family event 3 days later. It's
Right.
normal to see these ups and downs, but retraining the body the right way minimizes these highs and lows, and you just get to eventually live a normal, steady life.
Let's talk more about the right way to train your body. If you want to dive into why is exercise so critical to POTS recovery?
Right, because in the beginning, I was trying all the things. So in my head, this was whatever 4 years ago, so just getting into my 30s. Britt and I have played soccer. Exercise was a thing forever. We could
Yeah.
run, it was all the things. So I was even trying a good friend of mine ran a program of HIIT workouts, and I'm like, "Am I that out of shape? Like, why can I not do HIIT? Like, what is going on?" And I hear that all the time. So I was trying the wrong things. I was trying HIIT. I would just be like, well, I can run. I'm going to go run, or even walking. And then I'm like, what is my life? Now I'm crawling up the steps. Like, but in the same breath, I'm like, I can't make it up the steps, but I'm going to go to my basement and try a HIIT workout. It doesn't make sense. But I didn't know at the time that all those things I was trying to do, they're not the right things. If you think of POTS as like a water bottle, right? When we stand, 2 water bottles worth of blood go to our feet. So that blood is in the bottom of your legs. So anything upright with gravity is not good. It's your body is already fighting itself. So HIIT, definitely not. People will try yoga. I was trying walking. Even if you're doing at a very low level, you're already upright. And so your poor body lives on crappy blood flow and high adrenaline. And this is that seesaw. So when you live on bad blood flow, that blood's at the bottom of the water bottle, and the rest of that bottle is filled with adrenaline, your body is just barely hanging on. This is the autonomic dysfunction that is not right in our bodies with POTS. So by doing all the things upright and pushing yourself too far, poor blood flow, your cup of adrenaline's overflowing, and then you just see crazy symptoms. I'm not saying that you can't do these things. This is where the misconception is. I just had somebody come into the office, and she's new to the program, and she was in a flare. And I said, well, tell me what you did. This was a Thursday. I said, well, what'd you do? It started Monday or Tuesday. I'm like, what did you do Monday, Tuesday? No, nothing. Everything was fine. And I'm like, what did you do over the weekend? And they're like, we hiked 6 miles. I'm like, there it is. So, and everybody is so innocent because their mom's like, oh my gosh, like, I just didn't know because we did all the things. We did salt, we did hydration, we did cooling towels, we took breaks, and she did awesome on the hike, but then has this crash. So it's the same thing. I might be able to do the HIIT workout, although it was not good. I could do it, but then I had a crash. So it's this misconception as any movement is good movement. You should go do it. Or doctors will say, just go walk, but it's the wrong movement. And it all ends up adding to the symptoms and then just adding to this spiral that you're already on.
And that's why this program helps you really learn how to walk again, right? Redo this process to help slowly get your body to recirculate that blood and learn how to do that better, right? And so the program is designed to walk you through that step by step.
It is. And I know it seems a little crazy. Like, is this too good to be true? Or, oh my gosh, this takes a year. I don't have a year. We all want that instantaneous improvement and fix. I mean, listen, we all want it. That is just how I think we're programmed to be. And I know how frustrating that is, but I promise in time, and this is where the tears came in the beginning and throughout, I was frustrated. I was frustrated that I had POTS. I was frustrated that I had to get on the bike just to walk around like my family or just to participate in my day. I was frustrated that symptoms came that no one could understand. We 1000% get that on so many levels. And that is why the POTS Life was created. So just knowing that the right type of exercise, the right meds if needed, the right nutrition, the right mental health support, getting in touch with like-minded individuals that are going through the same thing that can understand on a level that, many others can't. That is what the POTS Life is. And we are here to help you.
I think that was a phenomenal summary of what we are trying to get accomplished today. We are looking forward to having you join us for future episodes where we have some really exciting guests lined up over the next couple months. So don't forget to subscribe, and check back in for these awesome guests.
Yes, we can't wait to have you join us. Remember, everything I feel like this podcast that we discussed today is really what the POTS Life is about. And it was the tool that I was hoping to have when I was diagnosed. So we are here to help you. We're so thankful you guys are tuning into the podcast. And, like Britt said, subscribe, all the good things. And we will see you next time. Bye.